What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 1894 from Dara. I've got Amos in here today previewing Chelsea at home. It's a big game. It's a massive game. This could be the difference between Chelsea being in and out of the title race. Amos, how are you feeling going into it?
Yeah, all good, all good. Obviously, Swindon was a bit of an easier game and not one that will define our season through to the next round with a less than interesting tie, let's say. But this is the big one. This is definitely up there with the biggest of the month. And you consider Champions League coming back next month. I think 3 points here set City in superb stead heading into the final months of the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's just one of those where we're kind of lucky we're getting out of the way now. We have, I think, Liverpool in April. I think we have to play United before then as well. It's one of those games where, like, right, we're setting up. We have to play against a team who don't concede many goals. Obviously, they don't have their keeper, but they don't concede many goals. So we're going to want to just get this one out of the way and focus on it, because I think we have a decent little run where we should be picking up more wins. So this is one of those where we go out, we make sure we win, and that's Chelsea out of it. To be honest, that is Chelsea out of it.
Yeah,
I can't see them getting near. I can't see many people getting near us at the minute, and I'd kind of be leaning towards Chelsea being out already, but this will solidify the fact that they are out of the race. But we're coming in. I think we have a couple of cases of the virus, but we still have a strong enough 11. But I think Chelsea are a bit worse for wear at the minute. Obviously, Mendy has to be a big talking point. He's been fantastic for them since he came in. Now he's Afghan, as I say. How big an impact that going to have on them?
Yeah, it's weird. I'd have this as a must-win for Chelsea, and I think typically Thomas Tuchel would have highlighted this usually as a come and get a point, especially against one of your title rivals. We did that to Liverpool, didn't we? Went to Anfield and got a point, and it suited us more. For Chelsea, they have to come and get 3 points from the Etihad and still hope City drop points after that. So their team selection is going to have to be hang on. They're probably going to have to rely on the forwards, because your likes of Reece James are still likely to be out. Ben Chilwell's probably out for the campaign. Like you say, Mendy's Afghan. So they'll be looking at bringing in Kepa, who has had a resurgence in the last few months. Let's not sort of skirt around that since his ill-fated Carabao Cup final against City, but he still has a mistake in him, and hopefully 12:30 kickoff, City returning to the Etihad for the first time this calendar year. You're hoping for a decent enough atmosphere, and you should hope the fans get onto Chelsea's back, and City can just get over them like a rash, like we have done in recent years. This has been a profitable result, bar last season, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, now we've gone out. There's plenty of times now. I know it's been different managers because they go through them like I don't know what. But there's times when we go and beat them 6-0. Then there's time we go and just 2-0. It's just such a flip flop fixture that it can go anyway. Yeah. But I'm really confident. I don't see why we don't go out and hit them again. Like, I know we beat them 1-0 the last game. A couple of players had great games, but I think we're playing much better football now. We have players that are on better form as well. We'll have the likes of Sterling, who's had to waking up. Jesus played very, very well against them last time around. Cancelo had a great game last time around. He's in as well. Like, there are so many ways we can go about it, providing we have the players. But, like, again, Chelsea are going to have to go out here and get 3 points. They're going to have to be the ones to go for it. They haven't been able to go for games. They're not the type of team that set up and say, right, we're going to have to go for this against a team, because they'll get beat, because they don't. It's just something about them. They don't have it. They sit back, they wait for counter attacks, and that's it. Like, it ends up. They tried doing that against us. It comes to nothing. They got one clear opportunity, and the Lukaku ended up being offside for a goal. That's the last. That was it.
You saw the Liverpool game just after Christmas, and they for half an hour in that game, albeit they got themselves back into it just before half time, but they were blown away by Liverpool. And granted, City can be, if we're going to criticise the entertainment value of City, I think we can be a little bit slower in attack at times, and it is a bit more pass instead of direct football. But City have the opportunity and have the possibility to blow a team away in similar fashion. And like I said, at home, you're hoping that it's another one of those 6-0s from a couple of years ago, rather than the terrible performance last year when they denied us the title, when it looked in a similar sort of fashion, City going to steamwalk this. And I think you make a great point about the Stamford Bridge game. That was a real mental hurdle for City to get over. Obviously, Tuchel came in and it was 3 defeats on the bounce in 3 different competitions. So to get that first win, if you like, will help the squad. And you saw the celebrations at Stamford Bridge from the players. I think there's that infamous photo of Ruben Diaz with his shirt off and captain's armband up his arm, and looking like a Sparta leader. I think that had helped, and bringing them back to our place. We can only hope they've got that in the mind again.
Yeah, like we've had plenty of like mental blocks to get over. Like obviously the Old Trafford win was great. We haven't won there in the last couple of years. Last season we beat Liverpool. Obviously that is last season. We went and got a point to do. I know people say like with fans, without fans, doesn't really matter. We still got over that mental hurdle last season, and we've continued it into this season where we didn't lose again. Look, we beat Chelsea again, like you said as well. It's so many mental hurdles, and it's a testament. Over the last 2 years has been unbelievable, and it just comes down to the players that we have. Like Gundogan, I didn't realise how much of a leader he was. Diaz, obviously, that goes without saying. Fernandinho, I saw like the real leadership quality to see in that Champions League semi-final. Like there's so many players with such good mentalities here, and that's what's getting us through games. And the fact that we're playing some fucking unbelievable football really isn't important either. But we'll go straight into the team prediction here. I have it in front of me for us, right? So we have Edison. Not going to be switching up. We have Walker, Diaz, Laporte, and Cancelo as well. Walker obviously got back against Swindon, so we should be fine. Diaz again played against Swindon. I think Laporte was home for a break, so a bit of luck. You never know how rapid it's going around. A bit of luck he doesn't come back with the virus. And then Cancelo again should be fine. We're not hearing that into the country at the minute, so we should be able to field a full 11. What do you think of the defence?
Yeah, Edison should come back in, barring any complications with COVID, but I believe he's had it 2 times now, so hopefully, he's got the antibodies, the precious antibodies. But in terms of the back four, probably City's strongest back line this season, definitely. Obviously, Walker had that prolonged break for, we believe, personal reasons and taking a bit of time out after his friend passed away. So he'll be ready to come back in. He looks sharp in that Swindon game, or at least sharp enough as you can do against the League Two side. So they're valuable minutes. And then the likes of Diaz and Laporte, who it seems an ever rotating sort of system for City's back two. It's Diaz and one of the three in terms of Ake, John Stones or Laporte. At the moment, Laporte's shining, and here's hoping that he can continue some strong form. He's going to be up against it. Some really high quality attacking players Chelsea will field, so it'll be a difficult test. But here's hoping they can come through it.
I don't see why not. I think it's just like they'll be blistering on counter attack. You know how it is. They'll sit back in a bank of 7 and try hits on counter attack. That'd be the best way we go about it. And then we'll go on to the midfield. So surely Rodri, Bernardo, Gundogan. I don't think there's a better midfield we could field at the minute with how we're playing, and considering the fact we have De Bruyne further forward, like you can say, there's not a better midfield for this type of game. I think De Bruyne dropping in as well. This will be a game where some more of his Hollywood passes could come off. This could be a really, really suitable game for him as well if he's trying to find someone in behind, because there will be players like we're gonna throw men forward because we're gonna say, right, we can't just sit here and pass it around while they have a bank at 7 in front of them. We're gonna have to throw some players forward, and that's what it's going to be, unfortunately. Again, it's a game that we can look at and say, geez, if we had a striker here, it'd be great, but it doesn't really matter. I think we'll get the job done regardless. They think in the midfield, they think it's good enough. Surely it's good enough.
I think it's probably the best midfield in the Premier League, if not Europe, let alone City's best midfield three. And it's bizarre, isn't it? Because like you say, De Bruyne, technically, if he does play in a sort of withdrawn false nine position, he isn't technically part of that midfield. So it's bizarre to say Kevin De Bruyne, one of the best midfield players of his generation, doesn't get into City's ideal midfield three at the moment. But that's the way it is. The balance those three have produced at the moment is fantastic. Here's for it to continue, because De Bruyne in that withdrawn false nine role could create a lot of danger for a back three system like Chelsea's, where there's going to be space in between those sort of holding midfield players and the back three. So it's positive. I think, if this is the system City set up with, then it could cause a lot of issues for Chelsea. They've just got to make sure that we're able to control possession in midfield, because the likes of N'Golo Kante has made a career out of being one of the greatest midfielders of the last sort of 10 years or so, and he can break up play like no other and then start counter attack. So that's what they'll be looking to do. If we can win the midfield battle, I think City win the game.
Yeah, definitely. That's why he's so key of a player for them, which is so weird that he was dropped for a while last season in the Lampard regime. But it's where. It's just one of those where he is that key man. Like you said, if you take him out of the midfield, if you win that midfield battle, there's no hope for Chelsea. Moving into the front three, literally as we're recording this, I got a text off you and worried to say that Foden's just got his hair redone, so he probably doesn't have gold. So we won't edit it. we won't edit. We'll stick with Jesus, but it could well be Foden. I didn't even take into consideration got his hair done, but I appreciate that humour. Thanks, mate. So we've gone with Sterling on the left, Jesus on the right, and De Bruyne playing further forward in the false nine. Which again, it could be Bernardo. We'll end up going 4-4-2. You know how it is. We've played same system. Where I think it's good enough. I think Sterling's been absolutely fantastic over the last month. I think rumours are he's just won the Premier League Player of the Month. I could be dead wrong, but I got a text off Luke earlier saying about apparently he'd already won it. So fingers crossed that's correct. Is it good? I think it's a fine front three again. Probably will be Foden considering he's got his haircut, but we're not going to change it now.
Yeah, I didn't have Raheem Sterling on my Man City 2022 bingo card as signing a new contract this early on. I think the way he started the season, I had him making that switch to Barcelona. Obviously, another infamous Man City wide player has made that move himself, the one who shall not be named. But Sterling's he's again consistently, as he has done for the past 6 years or so, he's carved his way back into the team when things have looked like they may have been coming to an end for him. Once again, I'm hesitant to say the best, but he has to have one of the best mentalities as a footballer in the world, because he's had so many knocks, and I don't just mean sort of on the footballing point of view, but you just look at his personal life and some of the media's attention that has been on him in the last sort of half a decade or so has been, pretty horrible. And to deal with that whilst performing, whilst keeping pulling on that England shirt as well. Let's not forget the sort of vital role he's played for the national team is superb. So here's hoping that you get again 2022 leads in through another fantastic end to the season, then into the new campaign as well. Jesus versus Foden, I think you could probably pick either one. I don't think there's particularly at the moment much in between them. Obviously Jesus with a fantastic goal against Swindon, and then that penalty which is still rent free in my mind. Yeah, we'll skip past that again. So, they're very similar players in sense. They're very different players in other senses. So they look to torment the Chelsea wide fullbacks, however way they set up. And I think Jesus versus Foden, take your pick. It's not a bad pick anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, I think actually now that we're looking at it, I know that he's mentioned it so many times. They play wide. He's going to want to have. He's going to want to have Foden on the left. He's going to want to have Sterling on the right. So we'll see what you actually see on the screen. I don't know what's going to happen, but that'll probably, if Foden's fit, he'll start on the left. We'll push them wide. I can only see a City win come from it, to be honest. But what's your score prediction there?
Yeah, I'm coming in off 100% record from the Swindon game, so I'll look to keep that going. A little bit of pessimism tells me that Chelsea will probably score. I'm confident City have goals in them, so I'm going to edge towards 2-1, maybe 3-1.
I'm going to say they don't score. I'm going to say 3-0 City.
I'll take that.
I'm going bold. I'm confident. But look, that'll be it. Little announcement. We've hit 1,000. So we just like to thank everyone for the support. We're gonna look to hit 2,000 by the end of the season. So any help towards that would be massively appreciated. So thanks very much for watching. We'll see you for the review.